The especially in the industry, as I said, there's from us as fans, we would see the videos and see all the glamour, think, oh, you guys are having fun. But we're learning that behind the scenes, it's not always like that. We saw the New Edition story, they're not big records, and yet they're still living at home in the projects. It's, going on tour and then come back and all the money's disappeared. And so you realize that if you're not as a team, it can be tough. And I'm a therapist. I'm a mental health therapist when I'm not doing this stuff.
Nice.
Depression, anxiety, all that stuff. But we don't realize, I interviewed LJ from Proyfle, and he talked about he was struggling with depression. And he said, I can't continue or I'll kill myself. And people didn't realize what it was like. But, going back in, I mean, you're signed to Bad Boy. They had one of the biggest stars in the world at that time, Biggie. He had transcended rap and stuff. You had Craig Mack had really come out with one of the biggest rap tracks that we'd seen in a generation. The hype around Puffy, because he was like gold dust. Anything he just even spits on, everyone goes and buys it. How did you make sure that you don't lose your identity? Because you guys have been working since '93, to form an identity. Now you're moving into Bad Boy, where he has a way of sort of, I think the Locks didn't like the whole suit and stuff. How did you maintain your identity and uniqueness? What makes you guys different in the machine of Bad Boy, which, as I said, was a big success?
2 points I want to make, and I'm glad you asked that question. And I'm also glad that you spoke about mental health, because I am an advocate for mental health. I speak about having, a therapist, and I've been with a therapist, off and on for the last 15 years. I've had at least 5 or 6 different therapists, whatever. But I'm a very strong advocate for, especially with a focus on Black men having, because we deal with so much stuff, and nobody's there to other than another Black man who's going through the same thing that you're going through. There's nobody there to vent, vent to and express your emotions, express your feelings towards whatever. So the fact that you're doing that, I give you big props to that, man, for being an advocate and also being someone there because it's very important for men, especially with the focus on being Black men, especially, to be able to speak on mental health, because it's very important. Just like any other part of the body, the brain needs help as well. You know what I mean? We go through so much stuff with depression, especially this music industry, man. Like 1 minute you're the best thing on planet Earth, and then the next minute you haven't lost any skills. As a matter of fact, as you've gotten older, you've gotten better. But the world don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to hear, what you did. They want to hear Cupid again. You know what I mean? But I've evolved past Cupid. What are you talking about? And it's like, no. We don't want you to evolve. We want you to stay where you were. And back in 1996, we don't want you to evolve. And therein lies the depression. And, we have our ups and Slim can attest to this. We have our ebb and flows when it comes to the music industry. You're the hottest thing on planet Earth 1 minute. And then the next thing you know, they like, who? You know what I mean? So it's real crazy. And there's no other drug more addictive than the music industry. I don't care what nobody else is saying. Like this, because there's no cure for that. That's one. But so I really appreciate it, and I thank you for being an advocate for mental health. But with the focus on what we were talking about, like how do we maintain ourselves? Honestly,
no, but before you move to that, because as I said, I'm a therapist, and it's always about identity, and especially that sense of identity. And if your identity is the group and your heart, that's great. As you've said, if the label pushes and you're not the priority, then you're all wrapped up in that. And unfortunately, there isn't that outlet. As I said, to talk. Black men don't get depressed, and we don't have mental illness. My parents are African, Nigerian. No one has mental illness. You just have stress, but you're fine. Did you guys feel like you had the opportunity back in those days to talk about it and get help, or was it off the record and you had to hide any struggles you might have had?
I'll tell you that right now, no, because it was taboo back then. You know what I'm saying? That one of the great things with social media nowadays is like, if you're a homosexual, you can be a homosexual and it's celebrated. If you're somebody who's of the LGBTQ community, you can be that and it's celebrated. If you're somebody who has mental health, it's starting to get to a point now where, and the thing is, all of us in some way, shape, form, or fashion need someone to talk to get that, get that energy out. So it's not necessarily I have a mental issue. It's just my brain needs therapy. Just like if I was working out and then my arm got, and I got a cramp in my arm, I would need therapy for that as well. It's just like any other part of the body. The mind needs a break too. It needs a reboot too. And it's not necessarily like I have a mental disorder. It's more like I just need to stop overthinking. I need to stop thinking, have so much anxiety. I need to stop thinking that everybody that's out here is out to get me. You know what I mean? I have to stop thinking about whether or not this fan that's over my head is gonna fuck around and break and fall and hit me on top of my head. That's the kind of things that, that we as, as artists, we always, because we're so used to being at the center of attention and somebody always, and 99% of the time, people are out to see what they can get from you versus what we can help you get. You know what I mean? Or how we can help advance you to the next level. It's always, okay, well, this guy's already established in who he is. Slim's already a Grammy Award winner. Mike's absolutely, man. Like I'm an advocate for mental health, and especially with the focus on African American men and just just Black men, period, because we go through so much. I did a 23andMe, which is a DNA test, and I found out that I'm like 70% Nigerian too. So
okay,
yeah. So, I'm just I'm learning as I go along as well too, man. So, but yeah, it's really hard and it's really challenging to be a Black man in this world, no matter what part of where you're from. It's just really difficult because they feel like you have this angry Black man syndrome going on or whatever. So you're incapable of intelligent thought. You're incapable of having a cogent conversation with anybody, and without being upset or irate or whatever. So they much rather I'd rather not talk to this guy as opposed to getting to know why he's so angry, what's going on with him, why is he the way that he is, man. And we have, and especially with African Americans, we have 400 years of oppression that we have in our background as well, man. So, and they go Slim's back too.
Yeah, sorry about that.
There we go.
Yeah,
Wow.
sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It took me.
But it's difficult, man, to be a Black man in this world, man, to try to navigate through all that. And Slim and myself had to deal, even in the music industry, had to deal with so much racism and so much ridicule, and we'll just have to grin and bear it, because if we say anything, then as artists, you're not supposed to, you're supposed to be better than that. You're supposed to rise above that. Like you're supposed to not let things like that happen to you, or let things like that affect you and things of that nature. And we're just as human as everybody else, man. So those are some of the things that, that we would have to deal with, man. And I think that the fact that, we're talking about mental health now is a great thing, because it allows us to familiarize and normalize talking about mental health now.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.